Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We are here with Doc Williams, founder of Brand Factory Inc. He is here to talk to us about future proofing your virtual events using AI and automation and all that good fun stuff. Doc, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here, and I'm excited. Of course, you always throw great events, and it's just a pleasure to be with everybody and to talk about a subject I'm very passionate about. So this is going to be great.
Nice.
Well, and whenever you want, Erica, I can kind of share my screen, and then we can kind of go through a couple things if that's okay. And starting, but wherever you want me to begin, I will take your lead.
Yeah, you have permission to share your screen.
Okay. All right. So again, thank you so much for everyone being here. Um, I cannot believe this is going to be 2026 in just a couple months. Like this year just flew by, right? So what we're going to talk about is the basics of what we're going to do for 2026. Now, the thing is, I'm going to show you a really highly technical thing in a moment as I share my screen and we're gonna show how to get started. But really, the thing is, it's not that technical. It's just a whiteboard. We're just gonna start right here because this is what it really comes down to. There are some tools and techniques we'll talk about in just a little bit, but really, we're gonna talk about you and talk about how you're going to work on your expertise or really focus on yourself, and then everything will be added, right? So when we look at future proofing your virtual events, you know what it starts with? You. It really starts with you. You're unique. You have your own expertise. We have to focus on you, and we have to focus on what gives you energy, what lights you up, because that will then allow you to be effective, infectious. It will allow you to just talk about your community, your virtual events, all the things that you want to change the world, but it really starts with you first, right? So, what we're going to do is for a moment, we're going to do a little bit of an audit. We're going to think about this. We're going to say, what kind of virtual event do you want to create? That's the first question that we need to answer, right? What kind of virtual event? The next one we're going to be thinking about, what was the best virtual event you've ever been to? Okay. Now, with that one, you're going to be thinking about perhaps how did they make you feel? What was it? Was it the landing page? Maybe it was the landing page, but probably it was the connections. It was probably who hosted it. Maybe it was Erica. Maybe she hosted the best event and then she was connecting you with other people. Maybe you got an aha moment. Maybe you met other people on the Zoom meeting or the virtual event that you would have never even connected with before. Really think about what makes the virtual event the best, right? Then you're going to be thinking about what was the worst virtual event you've ever been to? Okay, now you don't have to put down names, put the person on blast, but think about what made it being a bad event. What was the factors that really you're like, oh, yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like the registration. I got 10,000 emails about it. Write down all of those things, right? Now, after we have those kind of things, now the next part is what is the one takeaway you want for your virtual event? What's the one takeaway? What are they going to walk away with? What do you want to be remembered as? What does the virtual event want to be remembered as? All of those different things. Now, again, all of these things, this is all introspective about what you want to accomplish, how it's going to be, all even before we get into these other things. It's important to think about these things. Okay. Now, one other factor we're going to say, if money was no object, what would you have included in your virtual event? Now, with with money being no object, it might be I might get this guest. It might be I might give this kind of favor or gift away during the event. Whatever it is, write down all those different factors that could be included in this event. Okay. And the last portion is after all of these different things, what do you want all of your attendees to do after your virtual event? Okay. Now that might be you want them to talk about you. Okay, that's great. But maybe dig a little bit deeper. Do you want them to talk about the experience? Share their aha moment with other people? Maybe talk about what they're going to do next with their life after they were impacted by the virtual event. All of those things are connected. Now, once we have all of these things, this will allow us to build the foundation of future-proofing your virtual events for 2026. It all starts with you. Now, the thing is, this might sound great. You might say, oh, okay, Doc, all right, I already knew about these things. I've heard these things before, but how am I going to actually make this happen? How do I make this happen? Okay, so the first thing is when we look at virtual events, the first thing we have to first evaluate is where are we now? Okay, so we can say like, where are we right now? Okay, so if we're thinking about future proofing our virtual events, the first question we need to ask ourselves, have we ever run a virtual event at all? That's really important, right? Because if we're seeing virtual events, plural, if we haven't done one, let's not think about trying to do 6 or 7 or 8. We're just trying to do one next year. All we're trying to do is one. If we have done one and that was great, okay, maybe we'll try to expand out a little bit, okay? But we're going to start with that. Okay, so let me know in the chat or raising hands, has everyone already, how many have already done at least one virtual event? Raise hands. Okay, okay, good times. Okay, so, and thank you so much. So let's start with, if we've never run a virtual event first, and then we'll go into if we're going to scale up and do more. Okay. So if we haven't done a virtual event, the first thing that we're going to do is, this might sound really scary, we're going to pick a date. We're going to pick a date. And we're going to do it right now because it's October. It's October and we have time for the year. And now you cannot say it's going to be December 31st, 2026. No, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're going to pick a date that works in 2026. Now, here's the key. This people don't tell you about this. Okay? You're going to pick a day, a month, a week that gives you energy. Okay? So if you already know, listen, I got my anniversary, I got 5 siblings, we're all born in the same month of May. Don't pick that month. Don't pick that month. Pick a month that you either love, that you know that's going to be slower in your life, that you can chill. Maybe if you're living in more like Northwest, or you're living where it's colder, maybe, if you know you're going to be in the house for the first 2 months of the year, maybe pick one of those months because you're going to be snowed in most of the time, or it's going to be slower, right? Don't pick when you know you love going to the beach and you're going to be bitter that you've got to do this live event or this virtual event before you go to the beach. Pick something that works for you, okay? So the goal of this whole thing, the whole thing right now, by the end of this session today, I want to know your date, and you're going to say it out loud, and you're going to share it with everyone. I sound like I'm dying. I'm not. It's just allergies, and I just woke up. Give me 1 second. I will be right back and get water. It's a rookie mistake. I'll be right back. Hold on.
I want to throw it out there that clove and warm water is great for allergies. I've been drinking clove and warm water for about maybe 2 months now, and allergies don't affect me. I'm fine with being around dogwood trees now. That's how good clove and warm water is.
Okay, I'm back. Hold on.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Thank you, Erica, for saving me. Okay, so now that we have looked at where we're going to be, we're going to look at ones that have already had at least one event. how we're going to scale. So let's take a look at this. We're going to scroll down. Okay. We're going to look at the blueprint for your virtual events in 2026. Okay. So this is the roadmap, how we have it. Okay. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I steal things from other people. I look at successful conferences, successful events, and then I just take those. Okay. This is not something new. It's not something original that I took. I look at the best and then we emulate the best. So let's think about this for a moment. You might think about a couple different events that we might not unknowingly know that they have a plan, and we're going to think about it. Let's think about Apple, right? Apple events, Macintosh, everyone knows when those are. In fact, Apple doesn't even tell you when the exact date, but people still know it's like, oh, it's the Apple season. Something's going to happen. They're going to release a new phone. And they do it, right? Now, they have multiple events per year, but they have a signature one event per year. A signature event per year. So we're going to do the same. We're going to do the same. We're going to first have, what is your signature event? Okay. So you can think about the signature event as a celebration for your own ideas and for your own brand. Now, let's be clear. This is not going to be all about you. The event is going to be who you can serve in your best target audience. Okay? So it's going to be for your target audience. Okay. So once you have that, that's going to really allow you to focus. We're going to go through some examples. Let's look at Canva. And some of you attended last week, and we appreciate it. Zakia, thank you so much for being here. Erica. Okay, so for us, it was BuildCon. BuildCon, we've been doing this since probably, Erica, what, 2020? I think it was either 2020 or 2021. Can't remember the years. All these merged together. Do you remember, Erica?
I can tell you that it's been 4 years.
Okay. Then there we go. It was in the pandemic when we had it. Thank you. So when we have that, the event, it was really a weekend challenge, and we were focused on ones that were experts and selling or packaging their first product, the first product that they sell, right? So ours is BuildCon. Now, if we're looking at Apple, we'll just say Apple events. Let's see. Look, Apple events coming up. Let's take a look. So we have WWDC, right? So Apple has a regular annual event, upcoming events announced. We have right here, typical includes WWDC in June. September for Apple watches, all those things, late in there. So WWDC, okay. We're going to say WWDC 25. Okay. So right here, we're just going to get some more information or kind of a background of what this is, right? Just so we understand. And the next time, what's really important is when this comes up for next year, we're going to just start looking at how they advertise, what they say, what does it look like. Again, just like Austin Kleon, his book is like Steal Like an Artist. Just get inspiration from everyone. Start looking at different brands that you're interested in. Okay. So this is just one example of who we would look at. Now, there's another example that we might look at for events. And let's go here for a second. 1 second. Ba, 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 ba. Signature events to review. And that is going to be the WWE. Okay, you might be like, wrestling? What in the world? Wrestling? Why are we talking about that? Okay, so when you're looking at wrestling, and the reason we look at them over and over again is the WWE, they have this thing called SummerSlam, right? And I know there's going to be a wrestling fan. They're going to be like, Doc, don't even butcher all this stuff. It's all right. It's all right. We'll make it through. Okay. Now, why are we going to look at why this event? We're going to see How many years? Let's see here. 37. 37. 37. So starting in 88 and they keep going and going and going. And guess what? They have one in August 2026, right? Everyone knows when SummerSlam is. Now, what's the important about the WWE and SummerSlam? Why do we care so much about this? Okay? So there's a couple things we gotta settle about wrestling, and then we'll talk about how we can use this for ourselves. Now, this is might be a shock for some people, but wrestling isn't real. WWE is not real, right? There's storylines. I hate to say it, all right? It happens. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay? But why can we learn this about our own business? Because what makes WWE and SummerSlam so brilliant is they can bring out all of the storylines throughout the year and they already know where it's going to lead to with SummerSlam. It's a huge narrative throughout the year to get to where they're at, okay? So, is that the only event that they have? Well, no. Based getting to SummerSlam, they have tentpole events. Tentpole events. Because now it gives you the narrative to get to that point. So, we're going to put tentpole events. Now, remember, we just saw that with WWDC, they also have other events throughout the year for Apple Watches, blah, blah, blah. See, so it's the narrative. People know. Now, that's for products, but remember, it's the same thing. So we're going to have tentpole events, and that's going to be quarterly. Then we have monthly events, where it's going to be monthly themes or videos. Then we have weekly check-ins, and then we have daily. That's the structure of when we're thinking about virtual events or when we're thinking about events and all. We have one signature event. We have tentpole events. We have monthly themes. We have weekly check-ins and daily. Okay? Now you might say, Doc, I don't really know how I could do this for myself. Like, how is this? Seems overwhelming. Okay. So we're going to break this down. We're going to make this work. If this feels overwhelming and we're going to go, what do we have? This is inventory. All we have to think about first is our SummerSlam. We have to think about our signature event. The first thing we have to think about, do we have a signature event? We might have had virtual events before. We might have run virtual events, but do we have a signature event that no matter what, we can point to our brand, we have our own event? Do we have it? If we don't, we're going to write this down right now in our notes. We're going to say, I need to create my signature event. Okay? Now, it doesn't have to be, we don't have to have the most fantastic name yet. We don't have to, worry about like 2 weeks of brainstorming. Just say my signature event. The way that BuildCon came about, I used to do a live stream every day for a long time. So during the pandemic, how it started was I started live streaming 40 days, and I was going to build 3 businesses every single night for 40 nights. That's how it started. And it was called Build With Me. I stole the name was because I had a friend named Karima, and she had studied with me during the pandemic. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be building apps. I'm just going to call it Build With Me. So we had that. And then someone in the audience, I didn't even come up with it. I don't know if it was you, Erica. Maybe it was Nyota. Someone just said call it just BuildCon or just call it something with build. And so that's how it just stuck. It just called BuildCon, and then we just ran it every single year from there. Now, that might not be very original, and you're like, that's not great, but it stuck. And people could remember it because the show was called Build With Me, right? So for yourself, for your signature event, what's the name of your business? What are you trying to inspire to do? That's what you can start with the name or at least a placeholder to get started. Does that make sense? Okay, good times. Okay, so we're going to go with this. First of all, Erica, do you have a signature event, yours annually? Do you have a name?
No, I do not have a signature event.
All right, we're going to change that today. So with right now, what's the name of your community or the the virtual events that you produce monthly, weekly? Tell me about it. What's the name?
The Virtual Summiteers is a weekly community.
Okay. Okay, so we have summit tiers. We've got that. I just put it in ChatGPT or put it into Claude and just say, come up with 5 names around. You know what? We're going to do this right now. We're going to do this right now because you know I'm all about action, right? All right.
Yes.
All right. So if I'm just right here, I'm coming up with a signature virtual event. Give me 5 names and rate them for my potential virtual events. I already have a virtual community and an event that happens weekly. It's called the Virtual Summiteers. And Erica, tell me the one sentence. Who is this? The Summiteers are for whom? Or what's the
It
purpose of it?
is to help you move forward in your virtual events.
Okay. The purpose of the community is to help you move forward with your virtual events.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I've got this. I've got that. Okay. 5 options with ratings. Okay, so they've got a couple. Summit Catalyst Live, Virtual Velocity. Okay, so they're doing that momentum thing. Okay, the Momentum Makers series. My recommendation, the Momentum Makers series. Okay, now what I can do is, and it says what resonates the most with you. I can just say, hey, that sounds good. I like the process of this, but like give me other adjectives or give me more things like that, right? So you don't have to just be like, oh, they only gave me 5, I've got to pick. Just pick which one works for you. Or even better, you pick the top 3 that you like and then make it a poll in your community. And then you have people vote on it, right? You don't have to stress about it. Okay. So we have our signature event. We have the name of it, and we're gonna just think about one key takeaway. So Erica, let's think about this for a moment. Your key takeaway, if we're gonna have a virtual event for you, oh, I like that virtual momentum. Yeah, yeah, I do. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's talk about this, Erica. So what's the one takeaway for your for that conference, that one signature virtual event? What do you want the takeaway to be for you? And we'll just say virtual momentum right now. What would be the main thing you want to have?
I want people to know that events aren't hard, and if you really truly believe that they're hard, that there's help available.
Okay. They're not hard. What would be if I can hear that, that sounds like to me I'm going to get an easy win. If I feel like it's not easy to do, what's the easy win that you want them to walk away from at the end of the virtual momentum summit?
I would say creating your plan first.
Tell me more about creating that plan. What does that look like?
So,
Make it super simple. One thing.
what kind of event it do you want to host?
Ooh, what kind of event? What kind of event? Okay, so that's going to be the main takeaway. They're going to walk away. They'll know a concrete thing, a concrete type of event they're going to walk away from. Maybe you could give them a template, right? So if they're going to do X, Y, and Z kind of event, they get a takeaway, Mad Lib, something like that. They get knowing exactly how they're going to do that event when they leave. Okay, okay. And I just added some things from you, but still, you've got that, right? Okay.
Mhm.
What kind of events could they possibly run?
Um, it could be a 1, 2, 3 day summit.
Mm.
It could be a webinar. It could be starting your live stream.
Okay, I love it. Right there. Those are the 3. I like it. A summit, multi-day summit, webinar, live stream. Now you have 3 paths. You have 3 templates. No matter if you're trying to have a multi-day summit, a webinar, a live stream, come down to, you're going to be on the virtual event. You're going to be getting the templates, the blueprint to launch whatever format that you like. That's the takeaway. Now you can do so much more, but remember, that's going to be the main thing. Let's not make it harder than it is. That's the main thing. And then you can say, hey, you've got the blueprint of the 3 different types. If you want that support, you have everything that you need to get started. But if you want that weekly support, that monthly cadence to keep going, join the community. Ooh. The summit you had, Erica, was awesome. Yeah, always wanted you to do another one. Bam. Okay, you've already got validation right there. Get in there, Erica. Get started right there. Okay. So, okay, we have that signature event. The next thing that we're going to be thinking about, Erica, when's the event going to be?
Um, how about January?
Ooh, you're hitting it out the gate in January, huh?
Well, once you know what you're doing, they're not hard to set up. You just need to know what you want up front and then execute that.
Okay. All right. By the end of this call, let the good people know when it's going to be in January.
All right.
Okay. Oh, look, you already signed yourself up for more work. But I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Erica, I'm going to be coming back to you in a second. So this is great. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is great. There we go. We have our virtual event. We know when it's going to be, the main focus of that. Okay. Now let's talk about, if we have a virtual event, we have a signature event. What do we mean by tentpole events? Well, this can be either a live stream, this can be a webinar, but remember, we're going to tie our main objective to our signature event, right? So it's almost like an extension or a the breadcrumbs to the signature event. Okay, so for an example, what we have is we have our December event, and basically it's the jumpstart for the year. And it's getting yourself in order for the operations, getting yourself feeling good about selling next year. So it's not even about putting together your offer, it's putting together your operations and the right mindset to get ready to sell starting in January. So it's the narrative, getting ready. Again, on the call, on the tentpole event, we're not trying to get people um, to build. It's just getting everything in order. Okay, so that's the storyline. The next tentpole event would be talking about how to get customers, right? So now that we got the mindset, we know what's going on. The next tentpole event is how can we get customers? And that's kind of a sprint. It's 3 days of all the different ways how you can find people in real life and online to get customers. All right. The next event that we talk about is really a check-in. Now that's kind of weird, but we kind of do it is that we do it, hey, half the year is gone. Where are you? What's going on here? And again, it's more mindset. It's recalibrating all of those things. And then in the fall, it's BuildCon. And BuildCon is building that product, checking in, momentum, all of those things. Okay, so we have structure. Now, the monthly themes, imagine monthly themes almost like you're guest starring. Imagine that you're just going somewhere and you're going to be in front of people. So we see this as podcasts or guest starring events. Okay. So one of ours this month, I'm here, right? So that's one of the ways to think about the monthly theme. Our theme is about trying to help experts to sell and have a digital product. Well, this is one way, having a virtual event. So this extends who we talk to, extends who we're our ecosystem or our reach. So that's more of, you think about, hey, can I do a guest blog spot on someone? That way I can get the backlink and it works with the brand. Can I just be on a live stream? Can I be on a webinar? What can I do? Now, the weekly check-ins, this can simply be either your emails to your audience. This can be an email to an audience. This could be or a YouTube video. This is just a check-in, telling people what you're going to be doing, all of those things. And then your daily, that's just going to be on social, and that can be sharing, hold on, sharing something that you learned. Okay. Now, we're gonna like ladder this thing up again. At any point, if you feel that, hey, social sharing, I'm feeling overwhelmed, you stop the daily stuff. You stop it. If you're then like, okay, I, you know, weekly check-ins. I don't know. I don't have a list. I don't know who I need to talk to. Write down a list of 5 or 10 people that would enjoy hearing from you. You don't have to think about a huge list, thousands of people. Can you just get 5 or 10 people that would really want to open your emails, laugh, talk to you weekly? That's all you're looking for. And I'll give you the secret sauce on the weekly check-in. Has anyone heard of a Seinfeld email? Does anyone know what a Seinfeld email?
I know
Okay.
the show hadn't heard of a Seinfeld email.
Okay. So a Seinfeld email is well, okay, what is Seinfeld about? They talk about the show about nothing. It's just that's what it is, right? Um, but the same thing with um your content can be about almost nothing. I'm going to show you an example. And I have to remind myself of this because this is probably the most successful email I ever wrote, and I don't do more of it. And I need to do more of it. Okay. So I'm going to show you if you don't mind. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you actually, yeah, I'm going to show you this and then talk about it. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the email that I wrote. It just says, I broke my tooth on a muffin. All right. And it just says, seriously, I was at a funeral last week eating a muffin when my tooth snapped in half. This is what I looked like over the weekend. Right. It's Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber, just with chipped tooth, right? It says, bye bye front tooth. At first I thought I was fine. I just go to the dentist whenever. And then I remembered my job is making YouTube videos. I needed this fixed immediately. After a few minutes, I calmed down because I didn't need to stress about this week's video at all. I didn't have to worry about it because I had already had systems in place. I'd batch all my videos for the next month. Anyways, I ended up seeing the dentist and I got it all squared away yesterday. But I always am about having a backup plan. And then another one if life falls apart. Need help with your idea because your side hustle or business is falling apart? Hit me up, right? So this one is literally talking about just something that happened that weekend. And then later on, it's going to be, hey, if you need help, things get out of hand, here's how to help. This is how I can help you. Boom. That's it. I cannot tell you, even my sister, who never seems to read any of my emails, called me right after. She's like, "You broke your tooth?" I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't even know she was on my email list. 3 other people messaged me and they're like, "Oh, I loved it. It was so, I can't believe all those things." What's the point? Here's the point. It doesn't have to be business or salesy. People just want to hear about you and people want to hear your tone, your voice, all of those things. How can you communicate or what do you want to say? That's the main thing. Now, I'm going to show you another example too, a better example, and the people that do it better than me. It's one of my clients. I've had him for years. Okay, so let me look at one of their emails. I asked them to start doing this a couple yeah, maybe a year or two ago, and their open rate is something like 50%. Now, if people are just getting started with like newsletter, that is incredibly high, incredibly high. They have a sustained open rate of that, and I think a click rate. Let me just look at it real quick. Let me see what's going on. What are their click rates like looking like? Yeah, it ranges from 42% open, and then their click rate is about 1.1. But they don't even have that many any link. I tell them to put links in, they don't really do it. Um, and so I'll give you an example. They say good morning, everyone. Let me show real quick. Let me show my screen. Let's do this. Hold on. Oh wow, it's really powerful. So I'm not gonna show all of it, but basically, um, Vicky, so it's a husband and wife and their son that runs the business, but she's been dealing with cancer, and she starts talking about how she lost 45 pounds and what that means and how she's dealing with it. She's talking about her sister that just has breast cancer again, came back the third time. That's pretty intense. That's pretty, it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable. But their audience loves it because every single week they're willing to talk about themselves and how they're dealing with it, how they're dealing with it in their spirituality, praying, what they're dealing with in life, where they're going, where they're camping. People open it every single week. And then they're like, "Hey, yeah, this is what we do. If you want it, hey, this is what I'm doing." Or sometimes they don't even have a call to action. It's just the constant talking or those kind of things. So in your life, think about this. What can make an impact? Or I'll tell you what. Or how can you be vulnerable? I'll give one more. I think this is going to be an upcoming. This is going to be an upcoming email. So spoiler. But I was talking to my wife that my parents growing up, they were really fearful in the stock market, in doing anything like that, and they were like, "Don't put that in. You're going to lose all your money." So I was always fearful for most of my life. I didn't know how stocks work. I didn't know any of like investing. I didn't know. They're just like, find a stable job. This is what's going to happen. In this economy, it's just different. It's different than how it was decades ago. But to the point was, I so didn't understand stocks or understand what was going on in the world. I told this to my wife the other day. Warren Buffett. First of all, yeah, there's another thing. I'm severely dyslexic. So when I saw the name Warren Buffett, and I was a very large child, I love to eat. I thought his name was Warren Buffet because I didn't know who it was. So I read it Warren Buffet, and I thought Colonel Sanders and Warren Buffett were the same person for years until I was in my 20s. Because I was like, oh, there's this older white guy. His last name's Buffet. It's probably KFC. Didn't even know. So until I even anything about finance or investments, had no idea, right? But now that's why all my content is trying to show people the first couple of steps of having more financial independence, how you can make sure that you can be in the driver's seat of a side hustle, having your own business, because I don't want people to have the same fear that I had growing up. It was well intentioned by my parents, but I didn't even understand the world of investment in stocks and things that I could be doing. So that's the story, right? So that narrative, I'm just going to put in an email and talk about this is what I'm doing. This is why I help people. So you can be doing the same thing. Everyone has stories. Everyone has things that's going on in their life. So a simple way to do this is you can have either a notebook, a journal, or just have something you write down. Just write down little funny tidbits, maybe a story or who you're talking to throughout the week. You don't have to try to organize it right now. You just have it for stories so you can have it in your emails to connect with your audience. That's all you need to do. Okay. That's what's going to help you as you go through all of these different storylines. You do not need to you do not need to reinvent the wheel. Now, I'm going to show you something you might be saying like, "Doc, I don't know if that's true. Uh, you know, that seems kind of ridiculous. I don't think you actually do this." I'm going to show you this thing. It's called Story Notes and it's from a book, but I basically use it for all my emails. So this is Story Notes. You can see it started in 2021. This is me, and I just put in my notes. This is just what I've talked about. I have a date and then I have a summary. And it's all the different conversations, what happened. Look right here. I had a car accident on 4/21/23. It's just what happens. So I can pull at any time, I can pull a story out, and then I have it. Everyone has stories. It's just those small bites, and everyone's nosy. People want to know about what's going on in your life. Okay. Now, I will say this as a caveat: you don't have to share everything about your life. You get to pick out storylines. You get to decide on the narrative. But instead of sitting there thinking about what should I write about this week in my newsletter, you've got all those storylines right there. Okay. So we're gonna go back here. And Erica, let me know if I'm good on time. I've got about like 5 more minutes before Q&A. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, That helps us with our weekly check-ins, what we're going to do with our life, all those things. Now, this is what happens. When we find weekly check-ins or emails or things that people seem to gravitate towards, now we know what we can do in the monthly themes or videos, right? We get signals. We know what's going on. We can see what storylines or what people resonate with. Then we can test the monthly themes. If we get a really good reception on the monthly themes, then we can incorporate it into our tentpole events. Remember, we said our tentpole events, you might feel like, "Oh, I don't know where to begin. I don't have the feedback. I don't know the next steps before I get to my signature event." Your monthly themes are what people tell you that they like about you. That's what you can look at from the monthly themes and tentpole events. An example, we're experimenting next year with this because we're getting a lot more feedback that when I talk to people about my learning disabilities, that's a big we it resonates with a lot of people with dyslexia or ADHD. So we might do a temple event of basically tricks and hacks about ones with ADHD or dyslexia. How do I run my business? Things like that. So we're experimenting if we're going to do something like that, if we get enough response. But again, that's an experiment. We're going to try to see if we've got enough legs on that. And then again, our Summer Slam, our signature event. What are we going to do? We can decide again. Make it about yourself and then add on to it. For Erica's, it could be Virtual Momentum Summit or something like that. Main focus is going to help you run 3 different types of events to have the template, the blueprint. Okay, that's great. That's our takeaway. Now, how can we put, the icing on top? Maybe it's guest stars. Maybe it's having extra, discounts to tech, things like that. Those are all the cherry on top, all of those things. But those come out after we get the main thing, the main takeaway for our signature events. Okay? Now, we notice right here, if we look at the top, future proofing your virtual events, for the most part, we haven't really talked about any technology. We haven't talked about anything in that avenue. And it was built on purpose because we can plug and play pretty much anything that can work. I don't care if you use Zoom, if you use Hey Summit, it doesn't really matter. Where most people fall down is this part. Is this part. Usually, when you're unsure or you don't have clarity, people try to get into the weeds or the details and make excuses like, oh, I don't have the right software. I don't know how to do. Listen, we can make it as simple as possible. You don't need, we can have it as a signature event that's 90 minutes on Google Meets. Like, it doesn't matter. Okay. We'll figure that out. What's important is making the event special, making sure that you're focused on your target audience, how you're going to impact lives and really change them moving forward after they leave your event. Everything else, we'll plug in. Okay? We'll make it happen. All right. So, key takeaways. What are we going to do? If you have not created a virtual event at all, the first goal for you is to come up with a date. Tell everyone in the chat or on LinkedIn. Tag Erica. Donica, am I saying that name right? Okay, I saw that face you made when I said find a date. Okay, that's what we need you to do. How are we doing today?
Just fine.
Okay, so I'm always big, and by the way, one of the things, and this is a byproduct, one of the things why I love live events and why I love doing these things, seeing people's reaction and seeing in real time and seeing if things vibe, you can decide if it's working or not, or what's going on with the audience. And that is truly, there's nothing like it. It doesn't matter if you put out videos, emails, seeing people's reaction in real time, you can see if it's working, if people understand, if they don't understand, if you need to rephrase it. That's the beauty of virtual events. And if you can create moments where people are showing emotion, where they're laughing, where they're crying, when they're doing something, you know you're on the right track. You know you're having impact. And that's what's so special about virtual events, about events in general. So, and thank you for being here and sharing this with us. Okay? So that's if we haven't had an event at all. The next would be, let's think about your signature event. Let's think about what your main takeaway, how you're going to be different afterwards. And we just talked about Erica was so gracious to allow us to kind of brainstorm and for her to launch it in January. We're going to get a date from her in a little bit. Right? Then we're going to be thinking about our tentpole events. Remember, those are going to be more organic. After you have your one signature event, you can spend the next whole year thinking about the storylines or what you could do for the tentpole event. That doesn't mean after you do your signature event, you're like, oh my goodness, in 3 months, I've got to have a tentpole event. No, you could spend the whole year reflecting, talking to people, and then the next year, you have a quarterly event or something that happens regularly throughout the year. Okay, so don't worry, you don't have to stress that you now have to like instantly have something. Monthly themes, just think about like ones like Erica or you're in the virtual summiteers. Who could you connect with? Who can you show up on their stream or their content? Can you guys exchange? Do you want to talk to someone in your target audience? It's great that it could be in your industry, but sometimes not being in your industry, it kind of gives you a breath of fresh air, or you can show up in a different way. So that's something to consider. Weekly check-ins, you're going to start with an email. Doesn't matter if your mom's on your email, your brother, sister, it doesn't matter. You're going to start emailing. And then daily is just a nice to have when you're getting started. Daily is you're going to share something with someone, you're going to create a poll, you're going to create some kind of bite-sized content to kind of just get your methodology, what you're known for out into the world. All right? So that is how we make ourselves future proof in our virtual events. It all starts about your zone or your circle of confidence, your zone of genius, expressing, helping people, and then going from there. Okay, Erica, I'll let you take it from there. Tell me what you want me to do. And thank you so much for everyone listening.
Well, I want to say thanks for coming on. And those of you who are watching via the live stream, we're going to stop and go to the question and answer for those who are with us live on Zoom. So if you want to meet more brilliant people like Doc Williams, you might need to think about joining the Virtual Summiteers peer group.